Hi, my name is Yuval Nave. I'm a technical editor for Roadrunner Motorcycle Touring and Travel magazine. This video will focus on building a method that ensures consistently well-designed and interesting routes. It will show how to apply best practices for selecting good waypoints and demonstrate other best practices and recommendations for route design, but on the route level rather than the waypoint. To consistently produce high-quality routes, a few theoretical principles are suggested. The first is to establish a set of best practices. Then learn how to efficiently use the features of the tools, route editors. Refine the existing practices as needed, which means as you learn new things about your design, adapt the existing best practices and modify them to suit your needs. Add new practices once you learn new design skills. Repeat the method with future routes design. And finally, if we sum up the whole theoretical part, if you want to get quality, you need to have three components: good route design skills, good knowledge of route editors, and it's very important to repeat that method again and again. One of the most important route design skills is the ability to select excellent waypoints. The route, after all, is a set of waypoints. Good waypoints can lead to excellent routes, but selecting poor waypoints will always, without exception, lead to poor routes. Such routes can be either boring, can take a lot of time to complete, or can actually be dangerous. I mentioned in the printed article a set of 6 best practices for selecting waypoints. I'm now going to examine each best practice for waypoint selection and demonstrate how to apply it when you design your routes. Best practice number 1, look for green, parks, and forests. Let's start with a typical story. You want to leave your home. I live in Fair Lawn, New Jersey. You can see the waypoint over here. And I know that I need to go to Elmont, New York, because I have a bunch of friends waiting there with their motorcycles. So I put these two waypoints into the route using the hybrid method, because I'm starting with the beginning and the end. And you can see that the route is going through highways. It's going through, they're not so bad, but they're still highways. Let's look for green areas. First, I'll zoom out a little bit. You can see that there are obviously some green areas over here, some over here, over here. This is a bit too much west of my point, and these are really far away in the north. This looks like a very promising candidate. So let's see what's inside this area. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And indeed, you have many state forests and nice roads. So I'm going to just drag and drop this point. It's not so important right now where I drag it into, just into that area. I can refine it later. I'm going to leave it. And we are going now through these beautiful state forests. Of course, I can refine it. I can say that I don't want to come from this area. I want to come from here, and I can change the route a little bit with drag and drop. As another example of looking for green, let's look in a different region. This time it's in Las Vegas in the West Coast. And you can see many green areas over here. If we focus on the Grand Canyon National Park, it looks very green over here. I'm going to use the Google Street View feature. And you can see that it's an amazing place to be, but it's not exactly green. It's rocky, you have some rivers, it's a desert. Principle number 2, look for blue, lakes and rivers. Blue on the map represents bodies of water, such as oceans, lakes, and rivers. It's best practice to look for these blue areas, because riding along them almost always guarantees beautiful vistas. Let's go back to the original example we had. This time I'm going to focus on looking for blue. I can see a few interesting blue areas over here. So let's see. We're going to zoom in. I'm going to drag the point to this road. And this also looks interesting, even though I have some blue over here. So let's drag this one over here. I'm going to use Google Street View to verify that the waypoint selection was good. And you can see that it is indeed an excellent selection. Best practice 3, look for twisty roads. At the risk of stating the obvious, I think most motorcyclists look for curvy and twisty roads where they can have some fun and lean into corners. So now let's look for twisty roads. It might be a little bit hard to find them initially. You need to zoom in and start searching for these shapes. But I actually found one. It's pretty twisty. And a hint that it's a good road that you also have some green. Let's zoom a little bit inside and you see it's actually also a river. This river is the Delaware River. So we found a twisty road that also implements two other principles, which is look for green and look for blue, and that's a good indicator. We're going to drag it over here, and there you go. Principle number 4, look for county roads with 2 or 3 digits. County roads many times ensure going through small villages, farms, and have very little traffic if at all. You may need to invest some time zooming in into the map and looking for these roads. They typically have 2, 3, sometimes even 4 digits, but they're well worth going through. Let's try to zoom in and look for such county roads. I can see a nice county road 119 going here, so I'll try to drag inside. You see the editor still insists going through a faster route, so I'm going to force it to go through 119 by adding another waypoint. Looks good now. And now, as usual, let's try to prove this point using Google Street View. You can see the quality of this waypoint, of this entire route. It goes through beautiful farms, narrow roads. Best practice number 5, use terrain map mode. The regular flat map view, which we're used to, is very informative. It can show us the blue, green areas, twisty roads, and so on. But we cannot see elevation changes very clearly with this map. And sometimes these are the roads that we want to go most through because of the high mountains, because of the valleys. Google Maps has a feature which is called terrain mode. You can see it over here in this checkbox. When I'm going to click it now, the map is going to change from a flat 2D map into terrain mode. And you can see the dramatic change. Suddenly mountains pop out, valleys are very clear. If you look at this area, you can see the Ashokan Reservoir, and you can see how Route 42 becomes very interesting because it goes between two peaks, two mountain peaks. So that would be a very good candidate for a waypoint. Best practice number 6, use Google Maps 3D View. I've actually demonstrated this several times in this video, so I will not repeat myself. It's a free and easy to use tool, so I advise you to use it as often as you can if you're not sure about a waypoint or a certain road. That being said, be advised that Google Maps 3D, also known as Google Street View, is not available for all roads in the world, even though Google is adding more and more roads to the 3D database.